and I'm back. If you're wondering why I have the little video at the start, it's not trying to be anything fancy, it's just I have that going while I'm waiting for all the streams to come online. So, back in Lightroom, and I had a mini panic attack because I left for, I don't know, 2 hours or something, or an hour and, no, 2.5 hours or something. Came back, my computer was still on, everything's still open. Then took the lens cap off my camera. OBS froze. Lightroom froze. Then the whole computer blue screened. So once again, you know, the only thing I've changed is that I installed Adobe. So restarted, turned on the computer again, opened up Lightroom, and it said that I needed to update my catalog, which I had already done. Then I opened it up, and all of my edits that I did in the last 2 streams were gone. And I thought, shit. Excuse my language. But yeah, I was almost ready to just like give up, because I was like, I can't believe all of that work is just gone. This program is so frustrating. But I figured out that it had made a copy of the catalog for some reason, had updated using an older catalog, and yeah, so I loaded up the other one, and it's all good. But all of my window panels that I'd set before, I resized everything. That had all been resized back to default. So I guess I'll adjust that again now. Hopefully it'll remember that this time. Yeah, so fun times. Anyway, back into the editing. Got to pick up the pace. All right. This one's obviously way too dark. Oops. This is a shame. Like, this photo would have been really cool if she was in focus, and she almost is, but yeah. Like, obviously the autofocus is already working with a small area, and then it missed her, but whatever. Centering is pretty good. I want that to be locked. And yeah, I think that's pretty good. Maybe go up a bit. Cool. I mean, this already looks pretty cool. Like, I don't think I need a lot in this photo. Of course, all of these tabs have closed as well. I just realized that it's probably a bit hard to see some of this stuff. Maybe I should actually, not do that. Maybe I should move this over here. Let's see, does that work? Yeah, hopefully that's better, because you probably don't need to see this bottom corner. Yeah, and this stuff you can see. Okay. Yeah, this stuff you want to be able to see. Cool. All right. So yeah, normally I don't generally use the tone curve. I know a lot of people probably swear by it, but it's just not what I want to do. I use the hue, saturation, luminance. I don't really use color grading. Detail, yes. Lens corrections, yes. Don't really use transform. I do use the effects, and that's it. Okay. So this one I probably want some post-crop vignette. I think that would look a bit cool. I don't know why this area of the road is really light. Should I attempt to darken that? Oh my god. Yes, you gave me these tips last time. Let's see, maybe I'll attempt to darken this. How does that look? Yeah, that looks weird. Minus 0.8. Just trying to match. Is that similar? I don't know if it was weird to do that. Just thought it would make it a bit more consistent. Anyway, to add the vignette in, maybe minus 24. Oops. Yeah, I think because this is already a kind of stylized looking image, don't really know what else to do. I'm just going to leave it like that. This is maybe a silly one. Georgia probably won't like this. It's very close up. Sorry, Georgia. Yeah, I'll leave it there. All right. This one has a lot of super high highlights and super low shadows. So I'm going to try and tame that down a little bit. Is that going to look too much? Yeah, I think that looks better. I'm also noticing that the trees probably have a lot of chromatic aberration. Probably that purple magenta. So let's see if the saturation fixes that. That should fix it. Magenta also helps a little bit. Just want to check that it's not ruining too much of the rest of the picture. And I don't think it is, so take a little bit of the magenta out too. What to do? I think I can probably rotate it a little bit this way. And maybe bring this side in a little bit so it feels a bit more like, because this is the middle of the path here, so let's try and get that a bit more central. I think that looks better. Is it too much rotation? Maybe. Oh. Minus 0.8. Okay, what did I do then? Minus 0.2. I want minus 0.08. Yeah, I think that's good. Cool. Temperature is pretty good, I guess. Bump this up to 5. Bring up the texture a bit. And this is Barcelona, so generally I want the vibes to look pretty warm, even though it was in winter. That's why I'm going for the kind of warm vibe. Okay. Okay. It's pretty colorful. Don't necessarily want to add too much color. Maybe a little bit. The oranges are quite intense. Might drop the yellows a little bit. Increase the oranges. Didn't make a huge difference. Bring up the blues just to balance it out a bit because it's very orange looking. And there's no greens, so I'll leave that. Yeah, it's looking very orange, so maybe I'll try do something with the sky. If it works detecting it. Not too bad. So I'll cool down the sky a little bit. Try the dehazing. Doesn't seem to do much here. Just adding a little bit of blue in there is nice. Maybe I'll go a little bit more cool. Yeah, that's good. Okay, next. Actually, wait. Do I want vignette? Actually, I'm gonna leave that. Something like this where it's more like a kind of a not a landscape, but it's more like an open thing without a focus on anything central. I think without a vignette is nice. Okay, here we've got big highlight problems. Oof. This one's a bit rough. So because it was so overexposed in the highlights, got really bad chromatic aberration. So I'll take out the purple there. There's also a bit of blue chromatic aberration, but it's a lot better just taking out the purple. Like if you look in this area, when I drop that, it looks way better. Do I want to bring up the shadows? Bring up the exposure. I do want to bring them up a little bit. And this clock face is meant to be white, so it's maybe a little bit cool. Maybe that's better. A bit of texture. Clarity makes it a lot brighter, so I might bring the exposure down a bit again. Could use a bit of vibrance, I guess. A bit more saturation. The green looks pretty cool here. I need to stop using cool as a descriptive word for good if I'm going to use it for temperature. I actually kind of like boosting the yellow in this one. Makes it a lot more colorful. I want to increase the blues a bit, but I don't want that clock face so blue. So I might actually just desaturate it. Turn this feather down. Not completely, but I'll mostly desaturate it. Yeah, that looks better. Cool. I like that. Moving on. Oh, do I move on? I don't think there's too much noise. That's okay. Vignette. Maybe a little bit. Alright. Was it straight? Yeah, I think it's straight enough. This one I want to straighten up a bit. There we go. S64. Bring the bridge a bit more central. Once again, got really bright highlights. You can see when I turn it down, there's a lot more information in the sky, which is nice. So bring that down a bit. Maybe bring the overall exposure up. 64. Try and get some blue back into the sky. Just a little bit. A little bit of dehaze. Maybe that's too much. Yeah, that's good. Okay. A little bit more contrast. I actually don't touch contrast that much these days, and I think it's because you have these texture and clarity sliders. Like generally, I used to use contrast to try to make things pop out a little bit more, to add a bit more of the impression of detail. But that's at the expense of things getting blown out too bright or too dark. So that's why I don't touch it that much anymore, and I use these texture and clarity sliders because you can get that extra pop, for lack of a better word, without having to overexpose and underexpose too much. Blue just makes the ground look cold. Not so much red. The orange is nice actually, because this photo's already looking very grey. Maybe I'll add a little bit of yellow too. And do we have any chromatic aberration? Maybe a bit of blue, but that might be from the sky effects. Yeah, I think I'll drop the purple a little bit. Okay, I think that turned out pretty good. Next. Sorry, I just want to check that the stream's working okay. It is. All right. try this one. So it's a little bit crooked. Yeah, let's go +1. I'm mostly looking at the alleyway here that's going off to the top right. And maybe I'll bring it down a little bit more towards these guys. Well, I don't want to cut out that plant. Or do I? I mean, they should be the focus. So maybe I'll just go a bit more extreme like this. Then it looks a little bit crooked in the other direction. Maybe with this crop, it's better like this. This was just a little square somewhere in the middle of Barcelona. I can't remember exactly where, but these guys were playing some cool tunes. And it looked like a nice backdrop. Like some old church. It's been too long, so I don't remember the names of any of the places. Alright. You can see we've got clipping highlights again in the sky. What I could do, since I'm doing a lot of sky adjustments anyway, and since that's the place where everything is clipping, I could just reduce the I could just bring down the exposure there, or bring down the highlights, which is basically going to do the same thing. Then I can make that a bit cooler and a bit dehazed. And that means that the overall image, I don't have to drop the highlights so much. So I can even bring the highlights up if I want like more highlights on the subjects here. Bring the overall exposure up a bit. How are we looking? Okay, I feel like the tint is a little bit green. I'm gonna put that at 4.